Hey pal, so y'all in your friend group, was there ever a moment where everybody kind of collectively like outgrew one of the homies? You know what I'm saying? Like one person in the friend group, for some reason, they haven't really grown up with everybody else. Like they haven't changed, they haven't moved on from like a certain thing, and it's like low key gets on everybody else's nerves. You know what I'm saying? You guys ever had that? Because there's one homie that I have, and we're still friends, but there was a point in time where this dude was like, we all kind of collectively stopped doing some things and had like a mutual understanding that, you know, certain things that we weren't going to do anymore. But this one guy just couldn't let it go. And to be more like specific, when this friend group was formed, when everybody actually started hanging out and all this, I think we're all in like middle school. Maybe one or two of us were in high school. And there was one homie. You know how every friend group's got the one homie that like everybody picks on a little more than the other ones. There's always one, bro. There's always one. Our friend group, I would say, was pretty even, but there was one homie that this first guy I was talking about. Let's call him we'll just go with A and B. So A is the guy I'm talking about, the homie everybody outgrew. A would like to pick on B way more than everybody else. Like, way more at the beginning. Because B was one of the younger members in this friend group, right? And, like, A would criticize that everything B would do, bro. Like, A was on B like a hawk. Every little mistake that B would make, you know, A is the first one to point it out, right? And that went on for quite a bit in that friend group. But then we all kind of phased out of that. Like me, B, and everybody else in the friend group, we phased out of that time where we like a lot of the focus of the friend group was like calling each other out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point that part of a friend group gets like old when the only thing it becomes about is like everybody calling each other out. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like this weird, like, gross competitive type of friendship at some point. Like, competitive in a way where it's like everybody's constantly looking for something to call somebody out on, right? And then you get tired of that. You get real tired. And we all kind of collectively got tired of it and we stopped doing it. But A just couldn't let it go. Like, A was still trying to do the same old thing where he would pick on B all the time. He would pick on B all the time, and B kind of got sick of it, and you know, we all grew older. And at some point, B was like, you know what, I had enough. So B just like snapped one day, bro. B started yelling, bro. B was like, bro, everybody has moved on from this type of behavior except you. Like, you're still here doing the same thing, and it's starting to piss everyone off. Like, he pretty much spoke for all of us, right? In that moment, B stood up for himself, and he also kind of spoke for everybody else in the group because we didn't really know how to approach A about this. You know, we didn't want to like start up any drama or just make things awkward. You know, we kind of just tried to ignore it, and then on the side we would talk to B and be like, you know, I don't know why he keeps doing that, like, and we tell him, you know, I don't know what's wrong with A, but we all collectively except A had already been over that phase, you know. So it was like long past due that somebody told A that we just don't do that no more. Like, we're not really trying to have that type of clashing going on, you know. Everybody's sick of the call out phase, bro. Nobody wants to be called out for every little thing they do all the time now. It's just, for us it was overplayed, you know. It's like a song you hear on the radio too many times, and then you're like, man, I hate this song now. I'm just sick of it. And that's how it was whenever A would, you know, try to bring back that type of behavior. Not really like bring it back, but he never left it, you know. Even though everyone around, like all of the rest of us, kind of collectively grew out of it and stopped doing that. And we were thinking he was going to do the same, you know, just based on how the rest of us were acting, but he kind of just didn't get it. And we had let it go on for so long to the point where B had to finally snap. You know, B finally had to say something about it because he was sick. He was sick of it because A was picking on him the most for the longest time, you know. And even back then, like, way back in the beginning of the friend group, every time A would start getting on B a little too much, then we'd all turn on A. You know, we'd be like, yo, 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 I wouldn't be talking so fast because yada, 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 you know, something like that. Just to level out the playing field. But yeah, A kind of never grew out of it, and then B had to say something, and then we all kind of had to join in after that and be like, yeah, A, we don't really do that no more. You know, like, I don't know if you just weren't getting it this whole time or what. And we probably should have said something earlier to him about it. You know, we should have been more upfront with him. But we were all just kind of sitting and hoping that he would grow out of that on his own, like like the rest of us did. But that feeling sucks, bro. Like that, I hate when that happens in a friend group because you don't want to be mean to nobody, right? Like you're trying to move away from that already, and we were all trying to move on from that and just try to get along and not have, you know, with that like call out friendship behavior. It creates friction points sometimes because on some days people don't want to be hearing that. You know, people don't want to come in and try to hang out with their friends and then be getting called out for stuff that is just unprompted, you know, because somebody else wants to crack a joke at them. Sometimes you just want to come into the call, chill with the boys, and hang out and have fun and just vibe. But sometimes some of the homies, they just don't get that. You know, they don't get that the whole friendship doesn't have to be about these friction points where it's like every time you meet up with your friends, you start pointing fingers and blaming them for something. You know, that's people are not gonna like that. They're not gonna respond well, and that's kind of like what A was doing. So A would do like more so like judgment kind of stuff, you know, like, oh, why are you playing this game a certain way, as if, you know, B doesn't own the game and B can play the game however the hell he wants to because he owns the game. It's not A's copy of the game, it's B's copy of the game, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like it just doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But bro had the drive in him apparently to constantly keep that going and make B the focus of, or the butt of the joke, or whatever it is. And he just couldn't seem to let it go. And yeah, and this is not to say that we cut off A or anything like that. You know, A is still our friend. He still hangs out with us sometimes. We're all a lot more busy, so you know the group chat is not as crazy as before. It's not as active because we're all busy. But for a time, we had to deal with that. You know, for a time we felt like we had outgrown one of our homies, and we were like, man, I don't know if we're gonna. The vibe of the friend group was kind of tense. You know what I'm saying? But we're all chill now. We're all pretty chill, so it worked out in the end. You know, A kind of calmed down, and after B had spoken up and the rest of us had kind of also confirmed, you know, like, we don't really like that anymore, A was reasonable enough to be like, yeah, okay, you know, I didn't, and he said he wasn't intending to continue to do that, but then he kind of also shrugged it off at the same time. You know, he kind of did like the half apology type of deal, you know. So we were like, whatever, like, you know, you're just salty because we had to call you out on it, bro. You're salty we had to call you out on it because you didn't get it. But like I said, we probably could have said something to him sooner, but we all were just really banking on the fact that he might, you know, just naturally grow out of it, and he didn't. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to talk about it because that's one of the negatives to having a long-lasting friend group. When you have a friend group that has consisted of the same people for a very long time, at some point, some of those friends will, you know, outgrow others in a way, and then it becomes tense because people they don't like the old way of how the friend group used to be, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, they become more mature, and then one of us is, like, kind of not as mature. Like they just didn't get it, is the best way I could put it, I guess. I'm not trying to insult nobody or, you know, throw shade to anybody, but it was just a scenario that happened, and it was kind of shaky in that time. And do you guys have a friend like that? If you had a friend like that, post it in the comments, bro. Post it in the comments. I'm just glad that in the end we're all mature about it and we're able to move on and everything's okay now. But man, sometimes the homies need some work, you know. Sometimes we all need some work sometimes, but others just take a little bit longer to get there. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe. If you want to see more of me, follow me along. I'd very appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Show love to your homies, bro. Love and respect the homies every time.